Hello, I just had a real estate education on multifamily investing. I'm Ria, and here are my 12 lessons learned on how to buy your real estate multifamily with no money down from Rod Khleif. Lesson 1. Look for partners, and they put up the money and you do all the work. You find the deal, you buy it, you rent it, and you manage it, and you split the profits 50-50. Lesson 2. Multifamily apartments is a sports team. How do you buy a property with none of your money down? It takes money to buy a multifamily, no doubt, but it doesn't have to be yours. Lesson 3. You have to learn this real estate business. You have to become competent. Lesson 4. And the reason that competence is so important, because once you're competent and you understand it, it equates to confidence. So you'll have confidence, and with that competence comes your ability to influence people, to partner with people, to invest with you, to do business with you. And that's the transition of competence to confidence in your ability to influence people. Lesson 5, joint venture, where someone else puts up the money and you get a percent of the profits. You do all the heavy lifting, you're doing the sweat equity, you're doing the work. And your joint venture is someone that's got their own business, maybe they're a doctor or a lawyer, and they don't have the time to do the work in the real estate, and they'd love to get the returns and the tax advantage. Lesson 6. In a joint venture, everyone has to be an active role in the partnership. Everyone has to do some work. The partners have an active role. They sign on the debt with you. If you spent more than a certain amount of money, you need to get your JV's approval. Lesson 7, syndication. Syndication is where you can raise money and give people a rate of return, and they're not actively involved. They're called limited partners. You have to hire an SEC, Security of Exchange Commission attorney, and they'll do the paperwork. And it costs as little as $8,000. The average is probably about $15,000 if you're buying a property for the $1 million or $2 million property. And you could raise the money to cover that. It doesn't have to be your money. Lesson 8. The general partners in that syndication, you may have someone that puts up what's called at-risk capital. So they're putting up the earnest money. They're putting up the cost to do the due diligence for the property. They're putting up the lender's fee, the third-party reports, the appraiser, the survey, and environmental reports. Someone also gets a piece of the deal for putting up the at-risk capital. Someone may also get a piece of the deal for finding it. And someone may get a piece of the deal for raising the equity for the deal. The equity is the down payment, the closing costs, and the money you're going to put aside for operational funds and the money you're going to use to fix up the property. Investors will put up the equity. Now, the beautiful thing about syndication is when you put that together, you're also going to have to qualify for the debt. Lesson 9. The team qualifies, and it's not you personally. And that's what's so beautiful about this business. So if you go borrow money for a property called agency debt, which is a non-recourse financing where they can't come after you if they foreclose, they can only take the property. That's a non-recourse loan. You have to have a net worth equal to the loan amount, but it's the team's net worth. You have to have the liquidity in the bank equal to 10% of the loan amount after you close. Post-close liquidity is what it's called. But then again, it's the team's liquidity. You have to have experience to get this non-recourse debt. And typically in a loan, $1 million or more. The process. You find a deal, that's lesson 10. You find a deal, you put a team together, you know someone that's putting up the at-risk capital, you raise the equity. You might get that from one person that's got some cash, maybe a doctor. It's got a high net worth, got a great balance sheet that shows liquidity, and they've got the net worth requirements to get that loan. And then you could actually hire a property manager or a third-party property management company to satisfy the experience component. So literally, you could do this with one person that puts up their balance sheet. You put a team together and you're buying, let's say, a really large property that's 10 million, 20 million, or 30 million. You might need 3 or 4 people, 3 or 4 general partners or GPs on the team to satisfy that net worth requirement, to satisfy that liquidity requirement. Lesson 11, the law of the first deal. It is the scariest, it takes longer, it is the most stressful. And after you have done your first deal, you will say, is that all there was? Lesson 12, knowledge is 10 to 20%. 80 to 90% of your success in this or any business is your mindset and the psychology and action. So those are my 12 lessons learned. I'm Ria. I'm a board-certified family medicine physician here in the U.S., and I also invest now in real estate apartments. My book, Apartment Prescription, is coming out this spring 2021. You can download a free section of the first chapter of my book. It's my first investment property, and you can also subscribe in my YouTube channel. Take care and God bless.